So the question comes up on these VM26 style carburetors. Won't idle, stumbles, runs rough, hard to start. Couple basics just to understand. Choke lever operates the choke flap. Enriches the fuel mixture by reducing the amount of airflow. Generally, if the engine's cold temperatures outside, first start, you're going to want to need to use that. There's also a full choke, half choke, no choke. So if you get the bike started, get it running, even if you kind of help it with the throttle a little bit, screw right here is your idle speed adjustment screw. Turning that, and you'll want to use a screwdriver that's flat blade, fine enough to fit in there. This one just barely fits. And as you turn this to tighten, it will lift the plunger inside, increasing your idle. So when you're first getting started with these, get the bike started, keep it running with the throttle if you have to, and if you can reach down with the other hand as it mounts onto an engine this ways, slowly turn this screw in to raise the idle until it holds on its own. Once it does, let the engine warm up, and then you can start paying attention to something. It's the air screw or fuel screw. Depending on what side of the carburetor it's on, it may allow more air in or more fuel in. Standard position for this on these VM26 style carbs is underneath the float bowl. Hard to reach when it's on the vehicle. Might want to use a small screwdriver bit stuck into the end of a hose so you can kind of flexy up in there. Starting standard position is 1.5 turns out from lightly seated closed. If you have to go in more than 1.5, or you have to go out more than 2.5 turns, 3 turns at the most, indicates that your pilot jet's the wrong size. You're going to need to adjust that either up or down, depending on which way you had to turn the air fuel screw. Now, this one is equipped with a 17.5 pilot. But the thing about that is that Mikuni and Kian, whatever, both measure these differently. One measures based on flow, the other one based on diameter. I forget which is which. So in this case, the 17.5, if I had to turn this screw in more than 1.5 turns, then I'm probably going to want to go to a smaller pilot screw. Likewise, if I had to go out, go to a larger one. How you would adjust that is once the engine's warm, turn it out until it starts to stumble a little bit. The engine RPMs will change, sound, the quality of the idle will change. Then go back in about 1/8 to 1/4 turn. Likewise, I've heard that some people do it the opposite way by turning it in until the idle changes and then back out. Either which way you do it, you want to find that happy medium, and that will be the appropriate air-fuel mixture with the pilot jet that's installed at idle. And from there, you might find that if you've turned this in a little bit or out and it makes the idle speed go up, you come back to your idle speed screw and then turn that back out again to lower the slide and reduce your idle back to whatever specification is. And that should get you at least a good starting engine, a good idling engine. Again, assuming that you've got that pilot jet sorted out in terms of how big that should be. For something like the Hawk 250 TBR7 on a VM26, depending on if you're using the Kind or the Mikuni size jetting, what's in there stock should get you started. You can tune and adjust from there. You shouldn't need to just change it all of a sudden out of the blue, unless you can't get it to run at all without applying the choke, in which case that would tell you that you've got the wrong size in there. So people, start with that. See if you can at least get the bike to hold its idle. Hopefully that helps.